It's a cute skirt. Wow, look at this group. There are so many students attending. This is fabulous. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we good to go? Okay, first off, I would like to thank you for your interest and your time and for giving me the opportunity to present today to share my experiences with you. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are interested in early childhood education? Show of hands. Okay, all right. Maybe some, I see a few, some maybe. Over here to the right, absolutely not one of you. What are you saying, you don't like children? No, I'm just giving you a hard time. Okay. Okay. Is this like a formal classroom? Absolutely not. And you just have to listen to me? Nope. If you have questions, feel free to ask, and we'll go along in that fashion. I'm here to support you, share with you, answer any questions that you have, and just kind of give you what you need. Okay. First off, let me tell you a little bit about myself. As you see here, my name is Dana Ryan, and this is nice to meet you. Nice to meet each and every one of you. Okay, this is early childhood, and that includes from birth to the age of 8. So 0 to 8 would constitute that. I'm going to go ahead and start with how I knew I wanted to go into this field. When I was younger, I just always loved children. I knew intuitively that was my thing, that I wanted to work with young children. And knowing that, I talked with my mom and I asked her how I would go about getting into that field. And my mom explained to me what I need to do. You have to start to determine what age you would like to work with. So I went ahead and started babysitting. I started at the age of 11. Boy, was I young, looking back. So you worked with babies? Yes, I started working with babies at that time. And I babysat a lot. I probably earned about $2 an hour at that time. But the experience was a great thing for me because I cared for these babies. I had to feed them. I had to do everything you needed to do, to include changing diapers. That needed to happen too. And that's part of early education, early childhood education. So I worked for a long time, and then I decided that I decided to go ahead and work generally with young children. So I got interested in a camp, a summer camp, and I attended those summer camps, and I became what you call a CIT, which is counselor in training. And it was an overnight camp. I paid the camp to work, and they trained me, and it was a wonderful experience. I worked with a variety of different ages, from probably starting at the age of 6 and up to 16. Did you work at the Aspen camp before? No, I did not, and I'm hearing. So, well, you thought maybe I could pass for deaf, sure, but I grew up in Florida, not here in Colorado. In Florida? Where did you grow up in Florida? I grew up in Orlando, Florida. And I went to the Central University in Florida. That's the interpreter gang. University, Central, Florida. So UCF. Yeah, I'm not a Gator. Nope. I have a question. So when you were talking about the CIT, how old were you at that time when you were the counselor in training? At the time I was 15. Just out of curiosity, well, hold on. Okay, who's 16, 17? All right, 16 and up, show of hands. Okay, hands down. How many of you are working? Show of hands. Oh, good, 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 good. Okay, so if you start maybe at 13 up to 15. You can start babysitting. You can start by volunteering. And that's really important for working. If you never volunteered, how would you know what you actually want? How would you know what age you like working with? And also it's important if somebody came to my program and volunteered, I know who this person is. I can see that they're responsible, they're punctual, they're supportive, and so I get an idea of who that person is, and I can see that they work well with children. So I get an idea of how they work with kids. So once you volunteer, this particular person could ask me for a reference, right? References are so important. You can't get a job without references. You need to start now developing your resume, which you see here. And how you write that resume, how can you write that up if you don't have experience? You need to volunteer in various situations. So you all should have a job. You need to do something. You need to volunteer or have a job, and do it now. Don't wait. Take a look at these. Why is perseverance important? Why is it important to have good grades and show your responsibility? Why is that? It leads to success. Yes. Mm-hmm. Sorry, what, never good enough?
You never get a good enough job with the kids. Like the dream job.
You don't get your dream job that you want to have with working with kids. Over here? If you don't do that and if you don't persevere, you'll miss out on things. If you're not responsible, you'll lose a lot of information that is applicable to children. You'll miss out on a lot of things. You need to be responsible. It's very important that you are responsible to ensure that the kids are safe. And if you have that kind of skill set, you should be okay, and the kids would absolutely love you at the end of the day. It's very true. Wonderful. Good comment. One thing that I want to emphasize to you all, starting now and what you need to do that's important, because if you think, oh, I'm young, I don't need to volunteer, I don't have to go volunteer because I'm not going to get paid, don't think that way. It's important to start now because people are watching you. People are looking at your responsibility efforts and your skills, and it's very important. If the volunteer tells me that I'm going to show up at 10, I expect them to show up at 9:55. So punctuality is of the essence. It's extremely important. It's your reputation, and you're developing that reputation now. People will see what you do, and they'll make note of that. And you'll have your references ready to go. So start now. Let's talk about let me ask you, is loving children enough to become an educator? Say that again? Yeah, if you absolutely adore children, is that enough for you to become a teacher? Perhaps, perhaps, and I'm seeing a no. Right, it's not enough. Kind of half and half. Okay, your personality is key. If someone is extremely quiet or shy, do you think that would be good to be working with kids? Well, it really depends. It depends, yep. Right. Why is that not good to be able to work with children if you're shy or quiet? Okay, I'll explain. Children, especially deaf and hard of hearing children, are extremely skilled at reading you. So with that said, if you meet somebody that's grouchy, or they have an attitude, a lousy attitude, and things like that, and they go to work with that, I will simply say, nope, be on your way. I only work with people who are that smile, that are outgoing, they're fun. Children know as soon as they meet somebody. I'll meet a 1-year-old, for example, and if I meet that 1-year-old, I'll get down on my knees and I'm right in their face, and I'm being friendly and I'm engaging them, right?
I would be scared.
Yeah, you get on your knees. It's key. You have to engage the child and interact with the child and play with the young children. If I stand up and I'm all stoic and don't interact at all, it's not going to work. It's not a good situation, right? Yeah, personality is so important. If someone is skilled at being a teacher, but the personality is not there, perhaps they could teach older kids, or maybe teach at the college level, but not in the early childhood. It's really reliant on what you have internally and your personality. Got that? Okay, let's talk about the ABCs and 1, 2, 3. And that's all you need to teach preschoolers? Is that it? Maybe nursery rhymes is another thing you can teach. Okay, what do you think you need to become an early childhood, to get in the early childhood profession? Sports? You need to, sports, maybe have some physical you need to include exercise and movement. That's so important. You get them outside and get them to gym class, and that's important for early childhood education. Early childhood education, you need to teach healthy food, and you want to talk to them about what junk food is. They might have learned something from their parents. You need to teach nutrition and how to eat well, and so they remember that and are ultimately healthy. Absolutely. Many people don't realize that you need, that there's a graduate course in nutrition. People don't realize that. I mean, it is so important because all programs serve food, to include snacks, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you name it, they serve it. So the program does ultimately decide that, but it's important to have that information. You have to be respectful and polite. Do you think young children deserve respect? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Is it okay for me to just consistently yell at them and be on them all the time and tell them everything that they do wrong? Yeah, it's the same thing that you do have to respect. You have to absolutely respect the young kids. What else is important to be an early childhood educator? It's also important to be able to analyze how you can teach each individual child. Each kid does learn differently. Yes, that term is something that we use, and it's called age appropriate. We use that term for everything. We develop a lesson plan according to that. We develop a lesson plan that's age appropriate based upon their level and skill. What if, you have to, if they're not mature, you have to meet their needs. Like you have a 1-year-old, for example, is completely different from a 2-year-old. Who thinks that 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds are the same? They might have the same, you never know, a 16-year-old might have the same maturity level as a 2-year-old. You just never know.
Never know.
But the point is you need to know their age and their stage of development. If you have, perhaps, you're working with a baby, let me go back. Perhaps you're working with a 5-year-old, but cognitively, perhaps their skills development is at a 2-year-old level. And based on that, you need to know where each child is in terms of their level and how they actually learn the best. You can't just assume anything in this field. Maybe 10 years ago, I was a preschool teacher here at CSDB. And I remember I was teaching, it was about 3 years at that point, and I met this young girl, and she was a deaf girl. So I assumed that she was a visual learner and she had visual needs, but that wasn't the case. This girl was profoundly deaf, but she did depend upon her hearing aid. I signed to her and she talked back, and so that made me accommodate, and I had to think, how can I go about teaching this particular child? And I took that into consideration, and you have to meet the needs of each and every student. Every student here at CSDB has an IEP, right? So they have all their own IEPs, they have their own levels, and you have to kind of take that all into consideration to ensure that you match them appropriately according to age. So it must be age appropriate. And a question for you. I'm just wondering, is it okay, some parents learn in class and some parents Some parents say if they have the child eating, and they get full, the parents force the child to eat everything. Do you see what I'm saying? Is that a good thing to do? If the child's actually full and the parents force them to eat everything, is that okay? If to become an early childhood educator, you have to go to college. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you have to consider obesity, right? But okay. Yeah, you could become obese. There's an issue there. Okay, and then when you go to college, that's why it's so important that nutrition class is so important. Children philosophy, there's different teaching approaches, there's different styles. Discipline is also considered. Do you know how to discipline a 2-year-old? You have to teach them. Yes, you have to learn how to discipline a 2-year-old. But the 2-year-old's constantly jumping. I was 18, and I knew I loved children, but I didn't know what I wanted to go to college for. I didn't know if that was going to be my degree. I was young, I did work, but I was responsible. Yeah, I was, but I wasn't really interested in what was going to happen in terms of my career. I did go to a community college, and I took courses there, and I took up actually a lot of courses, and I absolutely loved it. It was a more one-on-one ratio, it was a smaller classroom, and that experience helped me explore my desires and what I wanted. And that's where I actually took up an ASL class. So that experience truly helped me kind of take a look at who I was and what I love and want to do. I asked my counselor. I have to tell you, take advantage of your counselor. JJ, for example, start working with him. Then college also has counselors, and that counselor will guide you to what you actually like and get the process going. I finished the 2 years at the community college, and then I entered the university. You need to be careful. A lot of fun things to do at universities, right? Right, college? There's a lot of fun things to do, like football games, join a sorority. There's so many fun things that you can do, absolutely, but you still need to be focused. And you need to be responsible in the classroom. You need to be responsible for your grades, and so on and so forth. Okay, how am I doing with time? You got 15 minutes left. Okay, okay. So early education professionals. See that here in the center of the paper? Somebody pick one of these things that you see. Safety. Safety. This one here. Usually teachers are not seeing that the kids are maybe playing with glue or something could happen. That can cause the kid to get sick. I mean, they don't know. And then maybe the parent will be curious as to how the child got sick, and ultimately they do blame the teacher for not keeping an eye on that. And of course the teacher's going to feel badly about that, but you need to learn that, and you need to be focused on safety because they could cut themselves with scissors and ultimately it could lead to an accident. So safety is very important. Okay, that's number one, safety. That is the most important skill that you need. You have to always have your eyes open and be on alert. At the preschool, they have a playground. You all have seen the playground. Maybe there'll be 10, 15 kids at a time playing. Now let's say the teacher stops by to say hello to the preschool teacher, and they get totally engaged in a conversation. Is that okay? No, 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 no. Not okay. Absolutely not. There's no talking with other staff. You could immediately say, you could explain to the other staff, you could kind of direct them to where they could support you. If you see maybe two kids maybe starting a fight or an argument, you could redirect those students and ask for assistance from the other staff. So again, you need to keep your eyes on everything. You need to actually be able to predict what could happen in that setting. And it takes a lot of experience to do that. A lot of volunteering hours are required to ultimately learn how to predict what will happen. Yes? I think it was, when was it? Maybe I was a freshman year, I don't exactly remember. I saw my cousins, or it was my brother. At that time, they were 3 or 4. And they were running, and they almost ran into the street, and I was able to pull them out of the street before a car actually came by and hit them. And I took it as a teaching opportunity and explained it, that they can't do that. Right, children just don't know. They don't know what the concept of danger is. We have to teach them what danger is, and we have to do that on a daily basis. You know, mention it 3 times, that will not be enough. You have to review that idea of danger every single day, and you have to do that with everything. So as they're growing up, they will realize, they'll know what a good teacher is, they'll know who they can talk to, how to grow, hold on, that's the interpreter, sorry, I missed, sorry. If you grow up together, for example, the kids will look up to the teacher, but most teachers, they might learn mistakes from the teacher. I mean, the majority of teachers are good, and kids do look up to them. And so you need to do that every day. Maybe even 1,000,000 times you have to teach them that idea. Now remember, young children do need to have relationships. They need to develop trust. They need to have respect. And love too. Yes. And children need that, absolutely. So when I went into the preschool classroom, I get the students' attention. The first time meeting these students, do you think they will listen to me? No. Absolutely not. It takes months and months to make that happen and to develop that routine, that schedule, and build that rapport and relationship with those students. So the kids start in August, September. They start school, and then I'd say maybe by December, the students do realize and understand the schedule. They know their routine, and that is important for them to feel safe. If the students feel safe, they know they can learn. So at the beginning of the year, you have to work hard. You have to set up an ideal environment. You can make some adjustments, of course. You need to be flexible. Flexibility is so important. You got to remember, they're young, they're learning, they're figuring things out, they're being exposed to so much new information. I would have to tell you, it's around December, maybe a boy at the age of 3. Maybe makes a huge mess or something. What do? Do I glare them down? Yes, and with that glare, that student knows immediately that was unacceptable, and then I can get back to my routine. It's fairly quick. That's my expectation. You need to have a structure in the classroom and a routine in the classroom so the students know what to do. If there's no structure or no routine, what do you think will happen? It'll just be chaos. Oh, the fighting will happen, kids will be stealing things from toys from each other, and so on and so forth, right? Trouble, yes, absolutely. If your classroom is not managed well, then the learning is impossible. Learning won't take place. You can't learn if there's chaos around you. Exactly right. So, all right, next.
Well, really, if it's chaos, you learn to regret.
But elaborate?
Being involved in that chaos.
Oh, you're talking redirect. Okay, redirect. Okay. Yes, you kind of engage the children and change a particular activity. You're right. Good, very good. What else? What does somebody else want to pick? Oh, passion I'm seeing? Okay, passion. What is passion? Why would you need that? If a child does not develop passion for something, they will develop they'll develop into a person that has no feelings, if you will. One key skill that we need to teach these kids is love. The love for learning. That is so important. If the children don't like to learn, then they're just not going to be interested at all. They're going to be distracted. They're not going to participate. I mean, these young kids, they are motivated. They want to learn. They want to learn about their surroundings. they want to learn about those things. And they can have fun and play and enjoy it at the same time, while at the same time learning. If you have the passion for learning, passion for children, you can become an advocate for young children. You can. They need you, each and every one of you. Other one. How are we doing on time? Okay, other? Okay, we have 2 minutes. Okay, yes? Flexibility. Why is that important? Let me ask you. It's important because you feel, I don't know, more comfortable. I don't know. Okay, every day life changes. For example, the weather changes, right? You can't go outside and play maybe one day. Perhaps you have a big event planned, something absolutely fun, super fun, and then you're ready to go to this event, get the kids motivated, and then what happens? The kids, I gotta go to the bathroom. All right, they all have to go to the bathroom, right? Now, as the teacher, I'm looking forward to this event. I'm trying to get the kids motivated, and then one kid raises their hand and says, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I lose it on them and become angry? Absolutely not. You have to adapt and get them to the bathroom, make sure their hands are washed, and use that as a teaching moment, and then be on your way. And things come up, and that's okay. You quickly learn that you have to prepare way ahead of time, because those kind of things come up. Flexibility is important because teachers tend to have an agenda of what they're going to be doing, but if someone becomes sick, for example, or one of the kids needs something, you have to adapt and fulfill their needs. Okay, who? You have to wait till I get eye contact so I can shadow copy. Okay. If the teacher is flexible, let's say if there's a substitute teacher. Suppose the substitute teacher, what would they do with that agenda that you spoke about if things don't go as planned? If the teacher has the agenda and maybe the teacher goes on vacation, or maybe there's an emergency in their family, something arises, what do we do there? The sub-teacher needs to have experience with that lesson plan as well. They need to be prepared, they need to be ready. The teacher needs to be prepared as well to inform the sub of the special needs that are within the classroom and the materials that they will need. I have to apologize. I really have to apologize. I have to bring this to an end. I'm so lucky that I work here on campus. If you have any more questions or any more things that you want to ask about, please feel free to ask. But thank you. Okay? Okay, we good? We good? Thank you. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Bye-bye, everyone.